I'm gonna read you guys some Reddit stories while I'm playing Jump in the background, and I'm gonna put some relaxing music on here, so enjoy. Also, feel free to turn on the captions so that it's easier to follow if you need it. So for the first story, am I the asshole for leaving my mom at the airport with no ticket and no plan? This still weighs on me. Some background. My mom was abusive growing up. It got bad enough that at 12, I left home through the courts and moved in with my dad. That decision fractured our family. On the court paperwork, under name of child, she wrote something like, "I have no son." I've carried that with me ever since. I had little contact with her after that. Briefly, at 17, again in my early 20s, and not consistently until much later. I'm now almost 40. I spent over 20 years drinking heavily and finally got sober in 2018, which is when I made an effort to reconnect with my family, including my mom. She's closer to 70 now and has zero contact with 2 of her 3 kids. Reconnecting wasn't easy. When I asked if she ever reflected on the abuse, she told me that I was an adult and needed to let it go already. That was a turning point. I realized any forgiveness would be one-sided. If I wanted peace, it was on me. Since then, our relationship has been rocky but present. We've had family reunions and even traveled overseas together for 3 weeks. We argue often, usually over small things, but we stayed in contact until this. Last summer, I invited her to my city to see a band she's loved since I was young. The plan was simple. She'd arrive on Wednesday, we'd go to the concert on Thursday, she'd fly out to visit my sisters on Friday, and I'd leave early Saturday for my own trip. She agreed. When she arrived, she mentioned she'd only bought a one-way ticket and would book the Friday night later. That made me uneasy, and I reminded her several times to make sure it was booked. I thought I was clear in my wording and tone that I didn't want anyone staying in my house while I was gone. Friday came. The concert was fine. Then she told me she still hadn't bought a plane ticket, and now with prices having gone up, she planned to stay a few extra days while I was away. I told her plainly, "I'm leaving at 5 a.m. tomorrow. You need to get on that plane." I even offered to cover the extra cost. She refused and invited herself to stay at my place. That's when I said clearly that I wasn't comfortable with anyone staying in my home while I wasn't there. She accused me of not trusting her and said that she was my mother. I said it wasn't about trust, I just didn't want anyone in my house. The argument escalated. Finally, she said, "Fine, take me to the airport." I think she expected me to cave. I didn't. I packed the car, grabbed my daughter, and drove her to the airport in silence. When we arrived, it felt like a standoff, like she was waiting for me to say, "Never mind, don't go." I didn't. I took her bag out, set it on the curb, and told her, "If you can't find a ticket, let me know. I can help you pay for a hotel." Then I left. Months later, I'm still thinking about it. I don't think I stranded my mom with no options. I offered to cover the cost of a flight and hotel, but I did leave her at the airport knowing she hadn't booked a ticket. Am I the asshole? The top response is from Comeback321, who says, "Do you realize, OP, that you just explained how her abuse and manipulation is still continuing? This was the abuse cycle that you just typed out and are still carrying it since it's hurting you so much. She's never once accepted accountability. You can forgive, but you don't have to accept. If she makes you feel bad about your boundaries, that's someone that doesn't have to be let in. She can wave at you from the outside or stomp on it by a tantrum, but stop letting her in." Personally, I think he did a good thing because she's clearly not respecting the boundaries and she's not gonna respect them anymore just by letting her step all over him. So I don't think he's the asshole here. Am I the asshole for my USB killer frying my friend's PC after she snooped in my bag? 20F and my friend is 21F. I always carry a USB killer in my backpack. It looks like any other thumb drive except I stuck a tiny double face sticker on it so I know it's the dangerous one. I keep it on me because I still live at home and my parents are super nosy. If I ever left it on my desk, they'd definitely pick it up and plug it into their laptop to see what it is. Yesterday, I had to leave campus in a rush and asked my friend to watch my bag for a bit. I ended up not having time to come back, so I just texted her to take it home and I'd grab it today. She said cool. She gets home, admits she got curious and started looking through my stuff, finds the devil sticker USB, thinks it's my normal drive, plugs it into her gaming PC to see what files I have. Computer instantly dies. Mobo and PSU completely gone. Now she's mad at me, saying I'm reckless for carrying something like that and I need to buy her a whole new setup, even though she knows she shouldn't have been digging around in my bag in the first place. I feel bad her PC is dead, but come on. Don't snoop and don't plug random drives into your computer. Am I the asshole? And this is the top response made by Kiwi Atashua. Your last line covers it. She was a bad friend to look through your bag and a bad friend to use something of yours without asking. She's learned an expensive and lifelong lesson. Don't be a dick to your friends and don't plug unknown USBs into your computer without first checking with a trusted source what's on it. Not the asshole. My own opinion is like, don't go, snooping on people's stuff. And then, that's just karma, like she tried to snoop and, well, she fried her computer. So I guess she paid the price. Hopefully she learns her lesson, right? Alright, so for the third story, am I the asshole for not getting my fiance's permission before getting my daughter's haircut? I got recently engaged to my fiance Ted. I have a 12-year-old daughter with my late husband. I take her to the salon to get a haircut once every 6 months. She has natural long hair and it grows out insanely fast. Plus, I use this opportunity to have my roots done as well. Thing is, Ted was pretty upset when he found out. I asked what his problem was since he never cared before. He said that yes, when he was my boyfriend he didn't want to overstep, but now it's different because he's basically her stepdad and should get a say in the matter. I argued about what say he could have and he said that it was more about respecting his role and authority as a step-parent. I said he overreacted, but he insisted this was a bad sign and an indicator of how his opinions will be steamrolled in the future. I assured him that this wasn't the case. Plus, this is a very trivial thing. He said this was his point exactly. If he doesn't get a say in trivial things, how much less his opinions will matter when it comes to the big decisions. I told him my daughter's choice is what matters at the end of the day. He said I was disrespectful and stormed out. He's been sulking about it for longer than he should. Frankly, I don't understand what his problem is. I might be wrong for the way I kept dismissing his opinion, but I really thought this was no big deal. What do you think? Alright, so personally, I think, like she said, it's the daughter's decision. She's 12 years old. She can choose what haircut she gets, right? Like, as long as she doesn't get something crazy, then the parents can interfere. But if she's just getting a regular haircut, what does it matter, right? Like, it's not his say, it's not her say, it's the daughter's. Am I the asshole for going to my daughter's last softball game as opposed to friend's boyfriend's funeral? For starters, I'm a parent that typically drops for everything for my kiddos. A semi-close friend of mine lost her boyfriend in an accident. I've met the guy twice in 3 years, so I wasn't close to him per se, but I've known her for 5 years now. I of course told her that I'd be at the service to support her. Little did I know that my daughter's softball team was invited to a prestigious tournament. My daughter begged me to go, and I wanted to try to do both, but they are almost 6 hours away from each other geographically. I ended up going to my daughter's game. My friend is obviously hurt because she feels I chose something less important in the grand scheme of life, but to me being present and supportive for my kids is the most important in life. Did my decision make me the asshole? I have kind of a mixed opinion on this. Like, I'm going through the comments to try and figure out how I should think. Some of them bring up good points, like there's a lot of people at a funeral, right, that could support, or if she just said that she couldn't go, then it would have been fine. But because it was a prestigious game, right, it's important for the daughter. But I don't know, because at a funeral, right, there's plenty of people to support, but if you said you were gonna be there and you weren't, that's messed up, you should have at least told her that you couldn't anymore. And then there's also other questions, is there a dad in the life? Because if so, the dad could have just went, or even a family member. You could have had the aunt go with them, the uncle, whatever. You didn't have to be there specifically. So I don't know, I'll go with you are the asshole for this one. Alright, so for story number 5, am I the asshole for refusing to apologize and going silent while my girlfriend cried? So my girlfriend, 21F, and I, 25M, were playing games together on Discord. I downloaded an old Mortal Kombat game and we were playing it through Steam Remote Play. After that, I suggested we play Brawlhalla. She told me she knows the game really well and that it might not be fair since I've never played it, but I still wanted to try it. While we were playing Brawlhalla, she was talking about how it used to be her main game and how she reached a high rank before. I honestly don't like Brawlhalla that much, and while we were playing, I started talking about how the dodge system sucks and how it's basically a cheap version of Smash Bros. She suggested we switch to a different game, but I said I wanted to keep playing. She said she wasn't going to keep playing something I clearly wasn't enjoying, and that she could tell my mood was getting worse. She shut off the game, and it was quiet for a bit. Then I asked her what she wanted to do, and she said she was in a bad mood and didn't feel like doing anything. She explained that my comments hurt her, and I told her it's not my fault you got offended, because I didn't mean anything personal by saying I didn't like the game. I also brought up a time when she criticized a game that I liked to show that it goes both ways. She said it wasn't the same because she wasn't saying it while I was actively playing and trying to enjoy it, and she wasn't trying to ruin the moment. After that, I got really frustrated and didn't know what else to say, so I kind of shut down. She started crying and kept asking me to talk, but I felt overwhelmed and annoyed and didn't know what to say without making things worse, so I stayed mostly quiet or gave short answers. She asked me to apologize, but I didn't want to because I didn't feel like I was completely in the wrong, and apologizing felt like admitting fault for something I didn't fully understand, which felt unfair to me. Eventually, she said goodnight and ended the call. Am I the asshole? Alright, I think you made this, like, be worse than it should have been. I mean, like, when she said she didn't like it, you should have just apologized right away, like, oh, sorry, I didn't know, like, that this would hurt you, right? And then moved on, or talked about it or whatever. But instead, and also the fact that, like, you brought up that she's done it before, but you're not, like, when she did it, did you communicate to her that you didn't like that? Or are you just using it against her now, right? Like, you can't just hold on to it for when it's going to be useful. You gotta communicate it when it happens to deal with it. So, I don't know, I think you should have just apologized, and yeah. But overall, I don't think this is that big of a deal there. Alright, that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments if you guys enjoyed this, and if you want a different game or different music or no music, whatever. It's the first video, so I'm curious to see what you guys think. But anyways, bye.